Into the heavy Clubman class, with only 4 drivers moving up to Premier class and all of last year's heavyweight top 10 moving up to heavy Clubmans, the class found itself in rude health for the afternoon session at Bookmore Park. Heat winners Stephen Jennings and Stuart Martin occupied the front row, but that's where their fortunes diverged. Jennings got a great start, and Martin in cart number 4 missed his, so Child, Ball, Moore, Gould and Hoy came through. Stuart gained some ground back with his elbows out at hairpin 2, but it counted for nothing, taking to the racing line through Simon Sweet, who was on collision course with Aidan Ball. The resulting spin put Stuart in the tyre wall with Andy Gould and James Taylor. Meanwhile, Stephen Jennings was busy filling his boots and out to a 1.5 seconds lead on to lap 2. Heavyweight champion Gerard Moore caught up with Child at hairpin 1 on lap 3 and took second, clipping the tyre bundle in Simon Sweep, then set up Dan Hoy to take James for third at Garda. The race was only going one way by now as Jennings stretched his lead to 3 seconds. Gerard Moore held off Dan Hoy and James Child kept Jamie Bird at bay until another small mistake, this time on the brakes into hairpin 2, gave Jamie half a chance. And he needed no further invitation. And that was the top 5 for final 1 settled, and it left Stephen Jennings cruising to a first win of the season. James Taylor used the extra practice he was afforded in final 1 to set the pole time for final 2, but he'd also sown the seeds of his own destruction by not bargaining on being the last race of the day and a dark visor in what was fast becoming darkness. Although it did not affect his start, nor was final 1 winner Jennings, who appeared not to see the Union flag drop, swamped off grid 2. Jonathan Elliott was straight through and Jennings was left clinging on to third. Aidan Ball would not be denied, striking at what is clearly his favourite corner down at Paddock, drawing Gerard Moore and Dan Hoy past Jennings in his wake, only for Gerard to jump Aidan at Garda. Moore picked off Elliott in second place, then after shaking off Ball, Hoy found another gear, running down Elliott for third before catching up with Moore and the struggling James Taylor, so he was in the right place at the right time in what became the pivotal moment of the race. Moore teed up Taylor for Garda and ran him wide on the exit, and Dan, who probably didn't need the help, took it nonetheless and must have laughed himself silly all the way up to Cafe Curve. Aidan Ball knocked James Taylor off the podium with another banzai move down at Paddock, leaving Ball just enough time, if he got his skates on, to catch Gerard Moore. Meanwhile, there was plenty of fun going on behind, and there's just enough time to say you can see more of it if you buy the full programme of Bookmore Park. Aidan Ball was by now ready to strike at, you guessed it, Paddock, but he was just too ambitious this time. Gerard Moore finishing another final in second place, and the 2012 heavyweight champion now takes a share of the Clubman Championship lead with the 2011 heavyweight champion Dan Hoy. Stephen Jennings is third, Aidan Ball in fourth. Jamie Bird, Barney Langley and Jonathan Elliott all have an interest in a share of fifth place. Here at Bayford Meadows after morning qualifying, it's the old silverback Tim Hill, after winning Heat 2, starts in pole position for final 1, ahead of Aidan Ball. Excellent progress in Heat 1 to a 7th place from grid 23 gives Nigel Proctor grid 3, Stuart Martin on grid 4, Martin Gurnett and Jamie Bird on row 3, Angus Borth and Paul Jennings start on row 4. Heat 1 winner Phil Rose and Alex Withington start on row 5. The joint championship leaders Dan Hoy and Gerard Moore share the 6th row on a 24-cart grid. Tim Hill's dropped the hammer and he's going for it. The Union flag is flying. Aidan Ball, as expected, is going to try and go round the outside of turn 1, and he's nearly done it, but he's run out wide and it's side by side down to turn 2 for the lead. Over the curbs on the inside, Tim Hill's got the lead back into the toe of the boot. Nigel Proctor's got his nose inside, he's lost momentum off the corner, he's got Stuart Martin on the inside, looking to the inside of turn 3, and there's heavy contact from Martin on Proctor. He's kept it running, but he's lost ground, and so has Martin Gurnett through to third place. A lot of heavy contact in the midfield. Well, these are big boys and they do like to throw it around. Somebody's going to end up facing backwards though. Aidan Ball sticks his nose in. You've seen that there's water on the camera lenses. There is rain in the air. Who knows how much grip there is. Coming round to end lap 1, Tim Hill has got the lead from Aidan Ball, Martin Gurnett, Jamie Bird. Phil Rose up to 5th. Paul Jennings in 6th. You're riding on board with Andy Gould. That's Alex Withington ahead of us. In 9th place is Gould going for the spot. Yes, he is. Down the inside of turn 1. More water on that camera lens as well. Not sure who that is. I think that is Nigel Proctor going backwards. Losing out to Mark Burrell. Oliver Knights. Jose Sola looking for 10th. Fields obliged to wave Withington back through. And it looks as though they're beginning to struggle for grip here. Andy Gould gets himself badly positioned. And it is raining on that camera. Coming down to turn 6. Stuart Martin the inside of Paul Jennings. Getting a big push from Angus, both running out wide. Oh, there's no grip. Knight has gone in with John Pethick. James Child has gone round. Miles Sharman, Chris Brown, Nigel Proctor. Aidan Ball, I think, had the lead there in turn 8, but onto the wet line for Tim Hill, and he's back through. Now the midfield looking a bit depleted, but they've still got their elbows out into the bus stop. Oh, 3 in there does not work. Both is looking to keep it off the tyres on the exit. Tim Hill's lead, 0.3 per second on Aidan Ball, and they're 1.4 seconds clear of Jamie Bird. John Pettick trying to find a way past Stuart Martin. Takes a look over his shoulder at Mark Morrell. I'm not quite sure what Andy Gould is doing there. Seems to be masturbating the steering wheel of that car. Out of the boot section, Gerard Moore ahead of Stuart Kirk. Angus Borth, Stephen Jennings well down in this one. Paul Jennings holding off Andy Gould. Stuart Martin. Mark Burrell making progress through this field, and we ride on board with him. That's John Pethick. Sweeping down into turn 6. Paul Jennings going through under yellow flags, waving Martin Gurnett through, but determined not to let Andy Gould go through with him. Oh, more contact. Gould tried to sneak a move there on turn 8, and that looks like 3 wide. Oh, Stuart Martin goes round, and it's all changed at the front. And Phil Rose has grabbed the lead from Tim Hill. Jamie Bird in 3rd, Aidan Ball down to 4th. I think we must have missed the beginning of that one. Dan Hoy, oh, hard into the side of Paul Jennings. Jose Sola looking at the inside as well. 3 into the boot section, doesn't really go either. Jose Sola running Hoy out wide. Chance maybe for Gerard Moore. Stuart Kirk clipped the cone on the inside. There, Barney Langley looking at the inside now. Aidan Ball picks up 3rd place from Jamie Bird. By the sounds of it, the engine notes are picking up. I think the rain has stopped and the track is beginning to dry. Everybody's on the racing line. Down into turn 6. Stuart Kirk looks to the inside of Gerard Moore. Can't get it done. And look there, fastest lap for James Child. He went off at the beginning of the shower. He's 45 seconds off the leader, so about 10 seconds up the road. So he's getting the dry track first. And normally I'd be telling you that fastest laps in the first final will probably set the grid for final 2. Except the heats were dry, so chances are it won't. Barney Langley moves past Angus Borth in turn 1. That's for 13th place. Both trying to come back at him. Mark Burrell on his bumper as well. Jose Sola to the inside of Paul Jennings. Has he got it done? Yes, he has. Jose Sola moves up to 8th. Stephen Jennings looking to find a way past Angus Borth. And this might play into the hands of Mark Burrell if he can get a good run off the corner. Jennings on the outside, Burrell to the inside, got his wheels inside, and he moves through on Angus. Now Burrell's on the wrong side. Can he take advantage? Can he sneak one through Jennings in 8? He's trying to. He'll have to blend out the throttle for 9. And on the brakes into the bus stop, Martin Gurnett continues to hold off Andy Gould for 5th place. Gone in a little bit deep. Can Gould get a run down to 2? Looks to the inside. He'll try and hop the curb. And he's in for the tour. Oh, it's not particularly quick. And that lets through John Pethick. Down the inside into 3. Bit sideways on the steering there from Andy Gould on the brakes. Gurnett will hang on to 6th place. But in the turning game, the advantage now goes to Gould for a run down into turn 6. Not close enough. Stuart Kirk looks to the inside of Dan Hoy. Can't get it done. Dan Hoy not making great progress here. He started in 11th. He's only 10th on the road. Coming through to start lap 7. Phil Rose's lead is nearly a second over Tim Hill. He's got 4/10 of a second on Aidan Ball. Jamie Bird half a second further back in 4th. Big gap then to John Pethick, who's 4.7 seconds off the lead. Jennings to the inside of Andy Gould. Can he make it stick? Gould prepared to fight it out, and that might let in Jose Sola. 3 wide into turn 3. Jose Sola, now it could become 4 or 5 as Dan Hoy, Stuart Kirk, Gerard Moore all join in. Oh, there's had to be contact, almost inevitable. Can they keep it off the tyres? Yes, they can. Gould keeps his position. Dan Hoy moves on and through Jose Sola. Stuart Kirk feels obliged to wave back through Paul Jennings. Dan Hoy looking to put a move on Jose Sola through 9, and he makes it work at some expense to Sola, who runs deep into the bus stop. And now the chance is on for Paul Jennings down into turn 1. Sola down in 9th. Angus Borth. Now Stephen Jennings is starting to make a little bit of progress, but he's got Mark Burrell looking for a way by. Gerard Moore to the inside of Stuart Kirk, and that would be for 12th place if he could make it stick, and he can't. Borth looks to the inside of turn 3. Great racing in heavy Clubman, if this is the kind of knockabout you like. Sola still manages to hold off Paul Jennings. Barney Langley might have a chance down into turn 6. But he's on the outside, and Gerard Moore is getting on the bumper of Paul Jennings. Langley not impressed with the contact. Gerard Moore giving him some room in turn 7. Borth sticks his nose in on Stuart Kirk and moves through. Phil Rose pulling clear as we move into the closing stages. He's 1.5 seconds clear of Tim Hill. And now Aidan Ball under pressure from John Pethick, and he breezes straight past. Ball trying to come back at him into the toe. Pethick is wise to that one, and the position is his. John Pethick moves into the top 4, and he started down in 23rd place. Excellent progress. The weather has played into his hands. Martin Gurnett to the inside of Aidan Ball, and that looked a little bit easy. Off the corner. Now look, Ball's doing something to the airbox there. I think he's having problems with his kart. Oh, and now I think he's just got a shock off the spark plug on the top of the engine. So some kind of electrical issue for Aidan Ball, and Dan Hoy will sweep by into turn 9. That shouldn't really happen, so there's definitely a problem with Aidan Ball's kart, and he'll be hanging on trying to not bleed too many points and positions before the finish. Dan Hoy bangs in a quick one. And the Jennings brothers are together. Stephen now ahead of Paul. So Stephen in 14th place, and his brother hasn't quite given up on the spot. Stuart Kirk down the inside of Gerard Moore. There's a bit of contact. I'm not entirely sure why he's waving him back through. It looked fairly clean to me. Paul Jennings is getting a run on Stephen Jennings. Will he put it through into turn 6? Aidan Ball still bleeding positions. He's now lost out to Sola, so he's down to 9th. Jonathan Elliott making a rare appearance in this final. He didn't race in the Enduro on Saturday, has only qualified in 21st place, so he's probably suffering for the lack of practice. The final lap board is out. Phil Rose's lead is 1.5 seconds over Tim Hill, who's got a couple of tenths on Jamie Bird. They're 4 seconds clear of John Pethick in 4th, Martin Gurnett in 5th, under pressure from Andy Gould down to turn 3. Gould to the inside. Oh, he was a bit ambitious. He's half spun, and he hasn't got enough momentum to keep that kart running. Dan Hoy, I think, just about has. He's up to 6 momentarily. Jose Sola moves through, and a chance for Barney Langley if he times this run off turn 5 correctly. Yes, he's going to have it down into turn 6. Final corner then for Phil Rose. He's going to win the first final from Bayford Meadows ahead of Tim Hill, who narrowly holds on ahead of Jamie Bird. 4th place will be John Pethick. He's just coming out of the bus stop now, ahead of Martin Gurnett. Battle for 6th those coming down the wire. Jose Sola goes in deep in the bus stop to hold off Dan Hoy, and Barney Langley's going to get a run on the pair of them.
3rd place today, Jamie Bird. He started on pole, but he's got picked there midway through the race, but 2nd place today is the old man Tim Hill. He came on to group 9, today's winner, Phil Rose.
Now off the
Tim's on there. Lovely.
A stellar fastest lap from Heat 1 by Barney Langley has stood unbeaten, and he has the honour of pole position for Final 2. From Dan Hoy, Final 1 winner Phil Rose is joined by Paul Jennings on row 2. Jamie Bird and Alex Withington start on row 3. Stephen Jennings, Andrew Gould and the Final 1 front row of Tim Hill and Aidan Ball round out the top 10 of this 24-kart grid. So a golden opportunity for Barney Langley, controlling the pace now as the pace car has pulled off. Dan Hoy on the outside for turn 1, looks over his shoulder. Is he going to go round the outside or slot onto the bumper of Barney Langley? He slots in behind. Paul Jennings into third, and they go charging down to turn 2, over the curb on the inside. To get the inside for the toe of the boot for Dan Hoy. Goes in very deep though, and Barney Langley's running round the outside to try and get the spot back into turn 3. Can't get it done. Dan Hoy gives him room to take it back into 4 though. Good clean fair racing from Hoy and Langley. Out of turn 5, the charge down the back straight to 6. Who's going to duck to the left to go inside? It's Hoy going for the lead, and he's done it. Barney Langley down to second, trying to hold up Paul Jennings and Alex Withington. Aidan Ball in 5th. The sun is shining. That means turn 9 will be taken flat. Then a sharp break into the bus stop. Use the slope to help. And it's Hoy from Langley, Jennings, Alex Withington, Aidan Ball, Andrew Gould, Phil Rose, Gerard Moore, Jamie Bird, James Child in 10th. And we ride on board with him. That's Bird ahead of us. And he's got a run on Gerard Moore. Bird looking for 8th place down the inside into the toe of the boot, and he's got it done. Moore runs wide, and Tim Hill jumps past James Child as well and into 9th place. Moore down to 10th. Stuart Martin looking inside of Child. It's looking very tight and quite angry there in the midfield. Stephen Jennings gets past James Child as well. Trying to set up turn 5 for a run down into 6, and Aidan Ball moves through on Alex Withington for 4th. Phil Rose is already on his bumper and looking for a way by. He's got past Andy Gould that we ride with. Is it flat through 9? That sounded pretty well flat to me. Out of the bus stop. Phil Rose ran a little bit wide, missed the apex there. I don't think Gould can take advantage. Stephen Jennings trying to find a way past Gerard Moore, coming from a long way back. Oh, what a chance for James Child on the exit to do the pair. So Alex Withington under pressure from Phil Rose, Andy Gould, Jamie Bird. Rose to the inside of Withington into 3, can't get it done. Stuart Martin, oh, I think that was heavy contact on Gerard Moore. I'll be surprised if Martin hasn't picked up a penalty for that one. So down the back straight, and it's Jamie Bird looking for a way past Andy Gould. Now he's on the wrong side. Phil Rose has gone round the outside of Alex Withington. Oh, a lot of contact there from Andy Gould. Looking like an ABC to me, and he's let Withington go back through for fear of a penalty. Coming round to start lap 4. Dan Hoy's lead is 0.7 of a second ahead of Barney Langley, and he's got a second on Paul Jennings. Jamie Bird trying to find a way past Andy Gould. Doesn't get it done in turn 1. Is forced to go on the defensive. I saw hands in the air there. A yellow flag out down in the boot section that's gone now. It's Jose Sola down the inside of Stuart Kirk, and that's for 14th place. Paul Jennings under pressure from Aidan Ball and Phil Rose, and Phil Rose is looking very racy in this second final. And Rose might get a run on Ball here into 6. He's too far back. They'll now try and set him up for turn 1. On board with Andy Gould, he's lost ground on Alex Withington. There's your race leader, Dan Hoy, pulling clear with Barney Langley. Paul Jennings doing his best to hang on to 3rd. And what a task he's got on there with Aidan Ball, Phil Rose and Alex Withington. Withington takes a look over his shoulder at Andy Gould. Andy Gould takes a look at the flag stand where I think a penalty's gone out for someone. Aidan Ball goes in very deep on Paul Jennings, and Phil Rose has picked up 2 spots, and Withington's got ahead of Jennings as well. It's all kicking off in heavy Clubman. Withington goes in too deep into the boot section and loses just what he's gained. Andy Gould under pressure from Jamie Bird, but they're now on the bumper of Alex Withington. John Pethick down the inside of Nigel Proctor for 16th. Chris Brown's in the mix as well. Proctor coming straight back at Pethick. Now on board with Chris Brown. Oh, badly placed on the exit, and he loses out to Oliver Knight. And Pethick will try again on Proctor. Down into turn 6, and he's through. Proctor trying to fight back, but he's got to be careful. He's got Oliver Knight and Chris Brown in close company. On to lap 6, and Hoy's lead is over a second now ahead of Barney Langley, who's comfortably clear of Phil Rose. His advantage is 2.4 seconds. Knight's going down the inside of Nigel Proctor. Oh, Andy Gould coming in sideways. Jamie Bird's got the better of him, and James Child has gone through as well. Miles Sharman heavy contact with Angus Both, who's across the grass. Oh, it's all crazy stuff here in heavy clubman. Mark Burrell coming through from the back of the field. He's moved up to about 21st place. He started 23rd. It's just so tough to overtake here. The level of competition in heavy clubmans is pretty fierce. On board with James Child, that's Jamie Bird ahead of us. Tim Hill in 7th. Dan Hoy, the leader, out of the bus stop and on to lap 7. Barney Langley looks to be settling for 2nd. It's still a battle on though. Phil Rose and Aidan Ball over 3rd. And there's plenty of people in close company to keep this one going to the finish. Jamie Bird got a good run through turn 1. He's pulled out half a cart length on James Child. Loses it into the toe of the boot. And then gets it back on the run down to turn 3. Stephen Jennings appears to be looking for a way past James Child. Down inside of turn 4. Now Child gets on his bumper. We'll look to get a good run off the corner. But I think Stephen Jennings will pull clear in 9th place. Tim Hill has caught up with Alex Withington. This is the fight for 6th place. 5th if you include Paul Jennings ahead of them. Dan Hoy comes out to start lap 8. It looks as though he's heading for victory. The look over the shoulder from Barney Langley, I think, confirms it. He's heading for 2nd. Alex Withington in 6th place. Under pressure from Tim Hill as he tries to find a way past Paul Jennings. Well, you saw what happened there. He got a little bit close. He went a little bit deep into turn 1. And Tim Hill said, thank you very much, and just moved through. Jamie Bird now closing in on Withington with Stephen Jennings in tow. Withington looking to get that spot back. Riding on board with James Child behind Stephen Jennings. Jamie Bird ran a little bit wide through turn 5. Is this an opportunity for Jennings? Not quite there. Now it's all about setting up for turn 1. Getting a good run through 8, 9, and then nailing the bus stop and getting a good exit. Who's going to have it this time? Withington got a good one, and he's pulled out a cart length on Jamie Bird, who in turn has pulled out half a cart length on Stephen Jennings. All square there. Looks as though Tim Hill is closing in on Paul Jennings, and that would be 5th place. Jennings down the inside of Jamie Bird. Is this an opportunity for Child to pick up a position? Well, Jamie's gone narrow into turn 3. Hill to the inside of Paul Jennings in turn 4. This could be a chance for Alex Withington to get a run on Paul Jennings. But Jennings goes down the middle of the road to hold him off. Round the hill once again, and Tim Hill is pulling clear in 5th. There's a queue forming behind Paul Jennings in 6th place, headed by Alex Withington, his brother Stephen. Jamie Bird, James Child, Andy Gould and Stuart Martin are not a million miles away, and here comes Alex Withington to the inside at turn 1. Whoa, there was contact. I'm not entirely sure why Alex is waving him through. Yes, it wasn't clean, but Paul knew the game was up there from the outset. Well, Stephen Jennings has taken advantage and gone round the pair of them. Paul Jennings goes past Withington. We're riding with James Child. He's running round the outside of Alex. Well, that move into turn 1 is proving costly. Jamie Bird now down the inside of turn 4. Andy Gould in the mix with Stuart Martin. Oh, and it's all gone wrong. Child, Withington and Jamie Bird in the tyres. Your race leader, Dan Hoy, is 2 seconds clear of Barney Langley, who in turn has 2 seconds on Phil Rose. Half a second clear of Aidan Ball. Tim Hill is heading for 5th. The final lap board is out, and James Child can see it from the back straight. Probably feels like a kick in the nuts. Andy Gould looking over his shoulder to hold off Martin Gurnett. Gould in 8th, Stuart Kirk in 10th. Gurnett getting a run on Andy Gould down to the boot section. Oh, he's getting closer. Can he get a run off the corner down to turn 3? Gould under pressure. Stuart Kirk gets down the inside of Martin Gurnett though. So Kirk up to 9th place. Yellow flag being waved at turn 4. That'll be for the incident on the back straight. Only one overtaking spot really left on this one, and that's into turn 6. Gurnett looking to the inside of Stuart Kirk as he timed it right. You know, I think he has. Can Kirk get to that next apex? He can't. A second win of the season for Dan Hoy. He moves into a 16-point lead in the championship. Barney Langley finishes 2nd and takes 3rd place in the standings, 2 points behind Stephen Jennings. And it's a good day for Phil Rose, finishing 3rd to pick up a 2nd trophy of the meeting.
3rd place, started off with 3. He won race 1 today. 3rd, Phil Rose. Had himself a 2nd place today, Barney Langley. And today's winner, we got past at the end of the first lap, set him up nicely, and there was no stopping this guy really. Today's winner of race 2, Dan Hoy.